Throughout the peak of the pandemic, Russia joined the ranks of governments ordering its people to quarantine at home for months on end. But it was never an option available to all. Nochlezhka, or night shelter, is Russia's oldest charity, providing aid to St. Petersburg's homeless population, estimated at some 15,000 by authorities and more than 3 times that amount by charity organizations.
Right away, we understood that people who live on the street will have nowhere to isolate. And let's say they have a positive COVID test or symptoms, they'll have nowhere to go.
Nowhere to go because many lack the official documentation, such as a passport, necessary to reclaim their lives. Meanwhile, aid groups like Nochlezhka found their traditional work, like offering meals and beds, further hampered by pandemic conditions and lockdown rules.
At one point, we even started covering the salary of a restaurant chef who had previously prepared food donated from his cafe. And so we kept him on the job so he could prepare food for our care recipients while his restaurant was closed to customers.
Andrey, who says he was cheated out of his salary after moving to St. Petersburg for work, a common story that complicates the stigma of Russian homelessness as primarily a cause of drug or alcohol abuse.
It's not right. You work so hard pouring the cement and then they don't pay you. It was only later that I fell into alcohol out of despair.
Andrey and others say the economic downturn during the pandemic has left them with few alternatives to scrape out a living and fearing life on the street more than the virus.
I looked at vacancies at the employment agency and there's almost nothing. You look at those newspapers advertising jobs and there's only one.
These are stories of hard times with few easy solutions, but also of communities coming together. Despite growing government suspicion of Russia's NGOs, Nochlezhka's ranks of volunteers and donations have swelled during the pandemic.
Never in our 30 years of work have so many people given thought to and cared for homeless people as they did in 2020. In difficult moments, people naturally think about those who are worse off than themselves.
Now the organization is working to get the city's homeless vaccinated from COVID-19, opening the door to temporary shelter and the wider net of legal, psychological, and employment services Nochlezhka provides. But it's an achingly slow process. Traditional Russian red tape means many will wait years to get the official government documentation that allows them to not only get the shot, but also puts them on the path towards finding something like home. Charles Maines for VOA News, St. Petersburg, Russia.